So I'm back again. You're like, yay, no. I'm yay, no, yeah. Want to get some more warmer colors in here. So we're back to red. I basically just use red, green, or red, blue, and yellow to make all my colors. Finding ways to mix. Find new ones that can only be mixed together. You can't buy in a tube. It's experimental. And that's great. Part of the fun. Got some red peeking through, but I want more like the orangey, pinky sort of feel going right now. That's what I want to see. I want to see some warmth. Colors have feelings. Kind of a nice salmony pink. This pyramid shape, I'm noticing I really kind of want even more pronounced up here for some reason when I think about the composition, the balance of things. So I like the geometry of that kind of pyramid shape and what it does. But I kind of want it to be more like it's looking down on me from up there. Maybe I just leave it as sort of an echo of something. Again, this all doesn't have to make sense. None of this has to make sense. Our brain, trust that our brains will help us make sense of it, no matter what it is, what it becomes. So there is kind of like a little act of faith going on. I'm fairly sure something will come out of this, right? Maybe more yellow to make it a little bit hotter. I definitely wanted to break up this little fractal that I made. And again, the idea is that things will kind of show through the layers as we build upon them. I'll tell you what, I'm already wanting to go beyond the frame I've kind of put myself in. I find myself wanting to go more horizontal. I have an affinity for horizontal lines, and I don't know if that comes from basic human recognition of a horizontal line when we see the ocean, when we see the skyline hit the sea from far away. That long line, there's something about it that helps us sort of, I think, contemplate what we want to look at and consider what that really means to us, the expanse that we are witnessing. So the vertical lines, I like paintings that are more, horizontal rather than vertical. I want the horizon is what interests me. What is that far away? That's the thing I want to go to. Maybe I just want to be at the beach. Maybe this place will become sort of a mixture of the past, present, and future. Maybe I'll make this a spaceport or something like that. I don't know. When it comes to time, there's sort of a theory, kind of beyond theory actually. I think it could be tested a little bit, but the idea is that in order to have the present, we have to have information from the past. In order for there to be the future, we kind of have to have information coming from the future to make the present, which is a bizarre idea when you think about it, if you really think about it. That means our action right now is somehow informed by what's about ready to happen. So, I think I mentioned before that the idea that time allows for change in the universe. I mean, rather than the universe being a static place, that time allows for change and transition. Otherwise, we wouldn't have events. And if there wasn't information coming from the future, there could be no now. I guess that's kind of the idea. I'm not sure what that really means. What do they mean by information? There's a theory of consciousness that since ding, 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 I will get to you soon. There's a theory of consciousness. Consciousness is still very much not understood. But that relates to information. So like elements, atoms have information attached to them, mathematical information at least. So like you can describe the spin or the position or something about that particle, right? And so as we get more complex structure-wise, as things come together, coalesce, that there's more information collected, and then somehow that plays a role in consciousness. So by the time you become a human being, we have these fantastic brains that we have. There's a lot of information, and that somehow that information is interacting with the world as our consciousness. And everything has consciousness in a certain way. So even the rock by the side of the road has a little bit of consciousness because it has information. And the reason why this theory comes up is because scientists think about what happens to material as it goes into a black hole. If that disappears forever, what happens to that information that was associated with that atom, that thing, the photon, whatever it is? Which I think is fascinating to think about. There are all sorts of theories about what this universe is. There's a theory that we are a simulation. That is, the laws of nature are so, as we understand the laws, the way the universe unfolds is so well designed in a way that it follows certain rules. It's almost like a video game or a simulation, a computer simulation. And there's ideas that we could be holograms. We're a holographic projection of a deeper reality. What is that deeper reality? And I think these ideas are fun to play with, especially as we have all these computer simulations that we have in our video games. Now that everything's online, we interact with somehow, even if we want to avoid it. The idea that there's some rules that allow some sort of interplay, and it means that there's like some sort of order. It's necessary, but not so much order that we sort of stifle innovation and change or movement and creativity. I notice he's going to get kind of washed out here, so maybe what I need to do is start going with some darker color here. Bring in this idea of a little bit more contrast. I don't want to go too dark with like black. I'll go with blue and red. Just mixing some blue and red to make some purplish colors to kind of bring that back out again. I don't know why I'm paying so much attention to this guy. I mean, he just kind of came up. I didn't really quite like it. But for some reason, I'm avoiding covering him up. I like him as an element of what is happening, and he's made me think about a lot of things on his own, and kind of thinking about this concept of what an idea is and how are we responsible for it. And yes, I'm responsible for making these marks on this painting, on this wall. But as you see, I'm not giving too much thought to making these marks. They're pretty random, right? So then, when I sit back and observe these marks, that yes, I'm responsible for making, but they are their own thing now, right? They exist in the external world rather than my internal world. These marks are on their own inspiring ideas. What if we came up with a new architecture? What if we really mixed up a new world in our own way? We borrowed from everything we knew and we put it onto one thing. Would it be a huge mess? Yeah, maybe. You kind of see how blue and purple gets really effective at making shadows and forms kind of come into being, right? Yeah. Maybe this idea of a pyramid taking up all the space is not what I want eventually anyway. Maybe I see like a complex of a maze or something down here. Maybe I'll just small people walking around. I don't know. Again, I see myself going out of the frame now. I don't want to exist just in here now. I want more space formulate my ideas. That frame served a purpose, but now it's like I'm going beyond. I want to go beyond that. And that means I have to deal with the consequences of making the frame in the first place. Now I got to cover up these dark lines, and it's okay. It's going to be work to make those go away. Seem like they were never there to begin with. It's kind of how history kind of sometimes unfolds and hides things. I heard something about my principal. The principal that I work with, Ms. Johnson. She loaned me a book for a little bit. She thought I might like it. It was all about facts, and this fact was buried and ignored because people wanted it, or these creatures wanted it to never be. And these things may get covered up. They are always still there. And one day, of course, the fact for many years gets dug up again. I like archaeology. I really get into it, and there's a lot of cultures that we get lost in history. I was talking about the Ammonites the other day, and I was like, oh, Emma who now? What the what? Like there's so much out there that we have to find and then figure out what it means. The Ammonite language has not been deciphered yet. There's no Rosetta Stone that has helped archaeologists be able to learn more about what their language means. And as we discovered, as we talked about, is there meaning without language? Can we have meaning without language if we don't have things, a language to describe anything? I think I'm going to bring some black into the equation. Getting kind of muddied and muddled. Oh boy. We need some delineation. Maybe there's a wall or something here, part of the pathway. Maybe there's something emanating from the middle of this picture. Notice how black really brings things to the foreground. If you put red with that in the foreground, it brings out even more. Keep wanting to play with the horizon line a little bit. Maybe making the horizon line here ish. I need some things in the foreground to put things in the background. But then again, maybe I want to play with the flatness of a surface. Earlier I was talking about the artist Chagall. His paintings, though they have dimension, are really kind of more flat, more color, very colorful sort of flat perspectives that he plays with. Don't want to lose sight of this feather. I'm not sure how much attention I'm going to put to the feather. If it's going to be existing, who knows? All right, well, I have some other things I got to take care of today. Enough of that. Let it play. Hi.